Just like that. Adapt and overcome. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Joey Wilson. I'm a Chairman 100 here at the I Am Mastery Academy, and welcome to Elevate Mentorship. This is week 17 or 18. It's a 26-week series where we bring on some of the best, the absolute best in the industry, from building to trading, leading up to Elevate Convention in Orlando, Florida. And that's where thousands of people are going to be flying in from around the world. And it's like a big celebration for an entire weekend where we're all going to really be taking things to the next level. But it starts right here. Like I've said on calls previous, I've been in this industry for coming up on 11 years. And just like myself and everybody else, we need our batteries recharged, right? And I get on these calls throughout the, every single week, and I'm just recharged, listening to a new story, listening to the person on the come up, listening to the person that went through the trenches, through the ups, through the downs, but got to some pretty monumental statuses in their business and in their life. And it's been calls just like this for me that I'm like, dude, I'm done playing around. I'm done playing games, and I'm making a decision right here, right now to take my life to the next level, because if this person that I just heard from can do it, why not me? And that's what this call is all about. Okay, so step number one, make sure your entire organization is on this call. Don't let them miss it. Yes, it's recorded. If they can't be on this call, get them the recording. The people that really plug in on these calls, you're going to have a better chance of winning. You're going to get more excited. You're going to gain more knowledge. It's as simple as that. And step number two is make sure you're taking notes. We all know the reality of we're going to forget 90% of the information if we're not writing it down on a piece of paper. And I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste your guys'. So make sure you have your note tab up on your phone, or pen and paper ready to go. And then step number three is a disclaimer. There's no guarantees regarding income. Your success or failure depends on your own skill set and personal effort. I have to say that because there may or may not be money talked about on this call. Okay, and so let's jump right into it. Let's not waste any time. I'm going to have my brother on this call that I've been watching him from afar for years. I've been part of this company for coming up on 6 years next month. And this dude came before me, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for people like him. That's just the truth. That's just the reality. He's had a lot to do with the trading of this company. He's had a lot to do with the business building of this company. And all I had to do was hop on the surfboard and ride the wave that people like this gentleman you're about to hear from created. So real quick, he's from Miami, Florida. He's been in this industry ever since high school. He's been in this industry ever since high school, had a deep passion for helping people, had a deep passion for entrepreneurship, cryptocurrency, trading, DeFi. He's like the DeFi god. He knows it. I mean, the dude is an absolute monster when it comes to that entire space. He's a DCX educator, and he's one of the best in the business, and that's putting it lightly. I promise you that, and you're going to see what I'm talking about here just in a second. So I'm very grateful that he's taking time out of his busy schedule to hop on here and give some value to all of you. So with that being said, type fire in the chat, type $ signs in that chat, and give it up for my brother, Mr. Mike Sotero. You are live, bro.
Let's go, Joey. Appreciate you for the invitation, the kind words. Guys, let's put some sevens for Joey. Flood the chat with sevens. All I'll say is this: you don't go chairman by 100. You don't go chairman 100 by accident. And tonight, understanding that Joey is somebody who just didn't quit. He was in the industry before he joined this company, had success somewhere else, had success again. Why? It's the principles. Now, tonight, we'll talk about some principles. So feel free to continue to send the Zoom link out. Some of you guys know me as an educator. Some of you guys know me as a chairman, or whatever that means. And I'll explain to you how you can do both. Put a 1 in the chat if somebody's ever told you I have to trade or I have to build a business. I have to choose one. And I'm going to handle that objection in the first couple seconds of tonight. But I want to embarrass myself real quick. Is that okay? Because I laugh sometimes looking at old pictures, and sometimes people look at a Chairman 100 Joey Wilson, didn't know where he started. They look at an Alex Morin, didn't know where he started. Look at a Jason Brown or Matt Rosa, and they didn't know where they started. And I want to show you a picture. June 2013. This was my first ever convention. Now I'm definitely gonna embarrass myself, but it's okay. But there's a moral to this story. Here's the story. It's simple. Those sunglasses weren't mine. That shirt wasn't mine. The tie was mine. The watch wasn't mine. Everything else I had to borrow to go to this event. I had just graduated high school, and my parents said, well, Mike, what do you want for graduation? Well, I said, I need a plane ticket to San Diego, California next week. So it was like $700 round trip on American. And I need some money for a hotel, and I need some money for probably some food. And one of the days I think I slept like in the bathroom, like next to the tub, because there was just so many people in the building. And I went to that event and I met two people. Write this down. Write these two names down, because these are people you need to study. I met Bob Proctor and I met Alex Morton. Oh, isn't that ironic? We'll be with Alex tomorrow at this event in South Florida. So I share that with you because I want you to know that today, I know a lot of you guys are here, and I don't really have any PowerPoints. I have a couple pictures, and I'll open up the whiteboard. But a lot of people right here today, you're in this place in your life. You think that this is hard. How many of you guys have seen this before? And I can show this to you on Bitcoin. I can show this to you on Ethereum. I can show this to you and relate it to the markets. But this is if you want to become an entrepreneur. Okay, if you just want a safe, cozy job, then feel free to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to be, look, in the next 2 years, as unemployment goes up, we're at 3.5% right now. We'll look back in 12 months. I think that number is going higher. I could be wrong. Amazon laid off 18,000 people this week. Facebook's firing people. We'll see what happens, right? But what I learned as an entrepreneur, write this down, is an entrepreneur is willing to risk it all for something that other people can't see. The picture I just showed you, my parents told me I was crazy. I was in high school, so my principal tried to kick me out. My baseball coach literally told me, like, if you keep talking about the business you're in, like, we're gonna have to kick you off your team at your senior year. Okay. There was a lot of adversity, okay, at a very early age. And I got to a decent level of income in that company, and then it was all gone overnight, August 24th, 2015. So by the time I was 20 years old, I went through a lot of experiences, a lot of emotions. And when you look at trading in this business and in crypto, you know, people will text me every day, well, Mike, crypto's crashing. Well, hold on, what positions did you take? Let me show you something real quick. Crypto may be crashing because you bought at the top because you're emotional, but it's not crashing for people. And we don't use CoinMarketCap. All the students know this. We just use this for this one feature. Let's go crypto. I'm on the wrong screen. Take a look at this real quick. Go back 6 years ago today. I hate CoinMarketCap because they always change where things are at. Oh my God. And I want you to go to 6 years ago today, and if this thing will even work. Anyways, CoinMarketCap sucks. 6 years ago today, Bitcoin was at $1,000, okay? Ethereum was like at $30. Ripple was like at a penny. So what am I saying? Is that this is gonna take time for all these markets. Now, here's what happens in your business is when it's really tough and really challenging and you start to have a little success. I tell people when new people start trading, you'll probably make money. You potentially could make money your first couple of trades, but then guess what? You get egotistical. You get extremely cocky. You get extremely this sense that you're never going to lose. So that next trade, you over leverage a little bit and then your account goes bye-bye. But this is a journey. And tonight, I just want to share with you some ideas, some things that have helped me really in this business. Now, is there a whiteboard? There's no whiteboard. Okay, I'm going to pull up TradingView. And I want to share with you a couple ideas, some things that you can understand, because every person and every market goes through two things. Write this down: cycles and corrections. And we can relate this to trading because it's the same thing. Let me just pull up a blank area. Oh no, we're going to put a BTC on the chart. Okay. And I want you to write this down on your piece of paper. I did, well, how many of you guys can tell me real quick? How many of you guys can tell me what day it was on Friday? What was the date? It was Friday what? It was Friday the 13th. And I actually did a whole training on this, talking about what do people fear in this business. And I really think there's three things that people fear. There's obviously more, but I'm going to narrow it down to three things. This is what you may fear, right? The 13th, right? Friday the 13th. Okay. And a lot of people, they associate that with what? Fear. So I'm going to associate that with fear for the next couple of minutes. And what people, you ever gone on a cruise ship or a hotel? and there's no 13th floor. Isn't that interesting, right? People literally fear that number so much. Anyways, I don't live in fear. I live in faith, but that's another story we'll get into in a few minutes. So here's what I believe people fear in this business. They start off fearing rejection. Rejection from friends, rejection from their family members. Put a 1 in the chat if somebody in your family told you not to do this. Put a 1 in the chat if somebody in your family told you're going to go to jail, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you have been hated on. I did a Zoom call 2 days ago, and I haven't had this happen to me in a while, Joey. And there was literally somebody saying scam in the chat box. And I got so excited because it reminded me of the lack of education in this world and the reason why people go through their entire life and they don't achieve anything monumental. They just get by. So when you get involved in something new, you're new. It's new for you to learn. So guess what? Don't put all this pressure on yourself. But I'm telling you right now is in the beginning, they're going to tell you that it's not going to work. Write this down. In the beginning, they're going to tell you that it's not going to work. When you start to make progress, they're going to tell you that it's not going to last. And then when you make it, now Bob Proctor, said, go as far as you can see. And when you get there, you'll see how to go a little bit farther. So you never essentially make it, but in other people's minds, they may refer making it to Chairman 10. They may refer making it to your first withdrawal. So the quote says, when you make it, they'll ask you how you did it. And then they'll call you lucky. And I know that's happened to a lot of people on this call that have stood the test of time. So the first thing that people fear in this business, and if you can get over this, you'll never be scared to launch. You'll never be scared to build something on a solid ground. I don't care when people tell me no. Do you think my ledger cares when people tell me no? Do you think people that make money trading care when somebody tells them no? And even if they're not making money, all you have to do is see somebody else do it first. All I needed to know is that there was one person having success in the company in 2017, August 1st, and I said yes. I knew Jason Brown when he was living in New Jersey, making no money. I knew Matt Rosa. You don't even want to know how I met Matt. I met Matt Rosa at a pool party. That was an event, okay, for a different company. We won't get into all that. Here's the second thing that people fear. Hopefully I spell this right. I apologize if I don't, for all the people that are going to correct me in the chat box. It's attrition. It's knowing that in business and in life, here's the truth. People quit. Put a 2 in the chat if you know that. How many people understand that people quit things every day? People quit relationships. People quit marriages. People quit going to church. People quit all types of things. People quit businesses. People quit on themselves. People quit on their kids. Oh man, I just understood 10 years ago that if I could stand the test of time. See, at 20 years old, I went through a lot, and I'm sure a lot of you have, a lot of people on this call, you have as well. Now, the difference is, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm really trying to challenge you to think here. The difference is, if your story's heard on stage at convention versus your story never being heard, and you all have a voice, but your story, use your voice, but will your story be heard to the masses? You have a story that you have to share. You've gone through things and traumas and past experiences and all this stuff, right? You've gone through things that you need to share. But the difference is will your story be heard at a convention? And the difference is can you get through the seasons when everybody quits? Oh my God, I just told my first mentor, he made a ton of money, right? In the number one company. It was in my company at the time 10 years ago. I went to his house in Carlsbad, California. He said, if you can just be here a year from now, oh my God, if you could just be here in the business, now not just auto ship on, showing up, but if you could be here a year from now, I think your life is going to be different. And even the years where my income started to trend downward, I knew I was getting better. I still have to get better. Joey is still getting better. I see him doing events. I see him doing calls. I saw him in the Middle East. I see him traveling, right? And he's a father. He has kids, but he could make the excuse, oh my God, I'm going to not build a business because I have kids. But he turned his excuse to his reasons why. So when somebody quits his business, it's not an excuse for him to quit. It's the reason that he has to keep going, because he understands attrition is part of the game. Put some fire emoji or something in the chat if that makes sense. Now, I don't care if other people quit. I've had so many uplines quit on me, and I've out-earned all of them 10 years later. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. And I learned, guys, I learned from everybody. I'll learn from the janitor or the CEO, right? I learned from people what to do, but man, I learned so much more from people on what not to do and how not to treat people and what not to say to people. And I think you have to understand these 3 fears that you're gonna have eventually in this business. This applies to trading as well. So the first one was rejection. The second one was attrition. Here's the third one, and I want to give it to you in a different way that you might have not heard it before. I don't believe people fear success. You ever heard that? Like, I don't really understand that. But what I believe people fear is the responsibility of success. The responsibility is, what if I become a Chairman 100 and I have all these people I have to manage and build and help? Well, you have it backwards, okay? Well, what if I make $1 million? Then I got to pay taxes, Mike. I don't want to do that. Oh my, you're blocking the blessings. You're blocking the blessings. So what I believe people fear sometimes when they get involved is, I don't want to tell my friends, because what if they join, or what if they quit? Or what if I hit a rank and then they leave? And it's just all these things that add up. It's the responsibility. You see some people, right? They get a large sum of money very fast. And now they feel like they have a new responsibility to take care of everybody. That's why most people that win the lotto, that's why most people that become a millionaire in sports contracts eventually lose it. Why? The responsibility is different. See, when you're broke, nobody calls you for money. Can anybody relate to that? Put a 1 in the chat. When you're struggling and you're not popping, why would they call Serena? Why would they call Marcos to go on the yacht? Why would they call Austin? Why would they call Alden? We're going to dinner. It's $100 steaks. They're not calling you, but the perception changes when people think you have money, and it makes me sick to my stomach. But here's what happens. In this business, sometimes people get involved and they fear, wow, I can never be like Joey Wilson. I can never be like Mike Sotero. I can never be Alex Morton. Nobody's asking you to be. When people start like talking like Alex and kind of doing like going off the deep end, I kind of tell them to stop. Stop watching his videos, actually, because you're kind of going, there's one Alex Morton. There's one of you. You don't need to be somebody else, but you need to take a little bit from Jim Rohn, a little bit from Alex Morton, a little bit from Joey, a little bit from certain people. Put it together where it makes sense for Courtney, where it makes sense for you. In this business, here's what we get paid to do, and this is what people don't understand. Please write this down. There's 2 things. I know people complicate this and like all these different systems, blah, 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 all out the window for the next 30 seconds. 2 things we do. Number 1, in this business, we use the products and services. If you are not on the products and services, do not expect to build something big. I'm just being honest. I'm not saying you need to be a trader, a master trader. I'm not saying you got to have these crazy withdrawals. But what I'm saying is you got to have the experience first to give other people the experience. You can't, like, this is why I hate this whole, like, there's a great analogy. I hate when people are travel agents. I love tour guides. I love tour guides. Why? They'll show me the city. They'll tell me about, you ever been on a good tour? Put a 5 in the chat. You ever gone to like Cabo, or, you go deep sea fishing, and like the tour guide makes the experience better. I was in the Bahamas a few months ago, and we were just kind of going through the Bahamas, literally a couple of days before the whole FTX thing happened. That was interesting. Anyways, and the tour guide, we were on a boat, and it was like 30 of us, 34 of us, 35 people, I think. And we were just snorkeling with like stingrays and turtles and all this stuff, right? But the tour guide on the boat, was 5-hour tour, was talking about this. Oh, Oprah has a house. That's Jeff Bezos' house. The experience. But why do people sometimes tell people to do things that they're not doing? See, here's the cheat code of this company. I want to show you something. Here's our number 1 product and service. Here it goes. It's golive.im. In the chat box, tell me how many times you've been on this website. This may look new for some of y'all. That's a problem. I can tell you probably won't be here in 12 months. How many times have you been on here in the past what today's Wednesday, past 7 days. How many times have you been on here? How many of you guys have been on here? How many times have you been on here in the past 7 days? Hopefully you all my sessions. It's all good though. If you're not, I still love you. How many times though? 7 daily, 10 to 12 every day. A lot of people are not answering. You know why? Because they're not getting on. And then they complain why their business has, you know what? No retention. They complain. They blame everybody else. Man, swipe coding doesn't work. Let me go to another company. Oh yeah, it's going to be a lot easier over there. Look, you still have to take the trade. You still have to build the business. You still have to deal with rejection and attrition and the responsibility of success. But people don't want that. People want fast. And you know what goes up fast? I met Les Brown in 2015. He said, if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. And if you do what's easy or looks easier, your life will be so much harder. And I heard that. I'm like, okay, well, I got to stop looking for the path of least resistance. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm probably speaking to 2 or 3 people on this call right now. The other ones are paying attention to some sports game or watching TV. If you're not going to pay attention to a call, don't even get on the call. I'm going to be honest. Unless you're driving, please drive and you can listen. This business is not difficult. It's super simple. Pick 2 academies, pick a couple academies, pick the educators you're going to watch, share, promote to your teams, whoever you resonate with, whoever you like their style of trading, whatever it is, I don't care. But then you have to get your team, the foundation is using the products and services. Because if it's hard here for you, it'll be hard somewhere else. And we have the best products and services. And we have, we have what people are trying to recreate. I'll leave it at that. Here's the second thing that we get paid to do in this business. And in any business, forget this company, in any business, you get paid to do this in every business, is use and share the products and services. That's it, okay? You get paid to use and share the products and services. I'm not going to show it on this call, but I will give you the link to my Pip Talk, which you have to have an active account to get access to. And I want you to scroll down a little bit. And I want you to take a look at the Swipe Coin Exchange idea results for the past 6 months. And I'm not going to show it on the call, but I want to put the link in the chat. You can just click the link if you're not in my Pip Talk. And I want you to determine, and some of you guys already have seen this and took part in this. I want you to determine, is it worth paying a couple $100? There it is right there. For those that know in the chat, you can tell them. I just won't show it on the call. What is it worth it? Any students the past 6 months being a part of, Swipe Coin? Go in the Pip Talk and look, Joe. I'll send Joey a picture after if he hasn't seen it. Yes. Okay. The answer is yes. And we were not going to make income claims. There's a risk involved in trading. But what I'll tell you is no matter what you do, if you want to build a business, you have to use the product and services and share the products and services. Okay. The results. There's a reason that the people up here are up here. They help people get results. Okay. So these were just a few things, and I'll share a few more points, and then I'm gonna pass it back to Joey to wrap up this call. And I really want to just leave this call because it's a couple weeks left, couple weeks into the brand new year. And I look back in the past 10 years. I got involved in high school. My first 2.5 years, I was part-time because I was playing baseball in high school. I was going to commit to go to a school in South Carolina, decided not to do that, decided to stay home and build that business from 18 to 20 years old. And then I really took like a year and a half off. And then I came back in 2017. And I remember I had a mentor. He told me, this is so good. Please write this down. Let me open this up. If you've been involved in this business for more than a year, or in your life, just in your life, and you've experienced highs and lows, please write these questions down. And I remember sitting down with him, I think at a restaurant. He said, what were you doing when the business was at the all-time high? Or what were you doing when you were making the most money? How were you feeling? What were you reading? How were you thinking? If you've experienced a high in your life, right? Maybe you can relate this to even the gym. What were you eating? How many times a day, how many workouts were you doing a week? How many calories were you burning? All that stuff. But in this business is what were you doing when the business was at the all-time high? Here's the second question. What were you, or maybe this is for you now, or what are you doing when the business or your life was or is at the all-time low? Maybe right now you feel like you're at a low in your life. Well, I'm going to give you a real simple equation that if you dropped out of middle school, elementary school, or high school or college, you can do this equation. Okay. So question one, what were you doing? How were you feeling? What were you reading? Were you listening to audios in the car, or were you listening to rap music? Right? Were you doing three-way phone calls in the car on the way to work, or were you watching a YouTube video or watching Netflix? Okay. First question. Second question is what are you doing if you feel like your life's not where you want it to be, and you feel like you're at the low? Here's the best part: low, high. But you have to decide that. Okay. And then here's the third, it's not even a question. It's not even a question. It's actually a statement. It's you do the difference. And I've had to ask myself these questions many times in my life, many times in this business. And you know why? Is because nothing goes up forever. Okay. I don't know if y'all have realized this over here. Okay. Nothing goes up forever. And the people complaining that Bitcoin is crashing, I guess they forgot in 2020, it went from 4,000 to 60,000. So I guess they forgot about that because their emotions made them buy at certain price points. And this isn't a trading call, but go on Swipecoin and go back 2 years ago and just look at the results. Cardano at 15 cents, Compound at $100, it went to 1,000. Uniswap at 2, it went to 50. The results, the ideas, they're all documented so people can say what they want. But more important than that is these questions right here. What were you doing? And I want put it in the chat box. What were you doing when your life was, and maybe it's right now. If it's right now, tell me what you're doing right now. What were you doing when your business was at the all-time high in volume? How were you thinking? What were you feeling? What were you reading? What were you listening to? Who were you talking to? Were you going to conventions? Are you going to be in Orlando in 2 months? Are you going to be in Rotterdam if you're in Europe? Somebody tell me in the chat, what were you doing? And it's hard because a lot of people stop. Second question is, what are you doing, or what were you doing when the business was at all-time low? Maybe that's today. Maybe that's in the future. Maybe it's already happened. But the difference is what you have to do, because you know what you did to get to a point. So if your highest rank you've ever hit, or maybe your highest rank you're at there today, Platinum 1000. You know how to do it, but you don't know how to go P5. You don't know how to go Chairman 10. You don't know how to make 7 figures. So it's simple. You open up your mouth, you earn the respect. There's something called the law of honor in business. If Joey's your mentor, or if Chase is your mentor, or if Tyler is your mentor, okay, or if Abigail is your mentor, or if Serena is your mentor, and you don't honor them by doing what you said you were going to do, you lose that respect. Write this down. Okay, write this down, what I'm about to say. What you fail to recognize eventually leaves your life. It may be a person, it may be this business opportunity, it may be the success that you think you're going to have, it may be the mentors in your life, it may be the people in your team. That's why recognition is so important. Where do we recognize people? At events. What do we recognize people? On certain calls. But it's also what you do behind the scenes. It's also the conversations that you're happening behind the scenes with your team, and getting that first demo win and recognizing somebody in your team chat, helping somebody get their first W in their portfolio. I tell people in the bear market, I'm putting my personal customers on building their portfolio before they're leverage trading. Why? If they buy an asset, for example, let me show you. we'll use Aave, for example. Okay, this was on Swipecoin as an exchange idea. Guess what? Our entry on the app was at $51. Okay, $51. You guys know this was one of my exits on Go Live, but take profit one is at $100. So we entered this on January 2nd. The market, okay, this is just a fact. The market right now is up 56%. So if somebody would have bought that, I mean, you can see it there for yourself. That's just mathematics, okay? I had new customers come into my team who didn't really understand leverage trading, but you know what they understood? I'll buy something, I'll hold it, I'll sell it higher. That's what they did. And you know what they did automatically is they opened up their mouth. And they told a few people. Who told a few people? Get what I'm saying there? And wrapping up this call, there's a couple of last points I want to make as we leave this thing. Put a 1 in the chat if this is making sense, and if it's not, it's okay. I'm glad you're here. Okay. People ask me all the time, what can I do? I want to answer this question. There's no script. I'm just gonna answer this. You guys can take notes. What can you do leaving today? Let me give you a few things. Number one, stop focusing on problems. Number two, focus on the things that you can control. I see people get emotional, man. Like they message me, Joe, they're like, did you see what this person did? No, I blocked them. I don't care. Oh my God, did you see? I'd rather you message me and say, did you see what Bitcoin did over another person's name? You know, people get so busy pocket watching in 2023. You know why? It's because social media is poison. I'm on Instagram Live right now. This app is poison for 9 out of 10 people because they don't know how to make money from it. You know what social media has done to our society? And I'm talking negative, and I'll bring up the positive in a second, but it's made us believe we have all these options out there when it comes to people, when it comes to businesses, when it comes to a lot of different things. Some of y'all know what I'm saying. Now, there's certain people that use it to build their brand. There's certain people that use it to give recognition. There's certain people that use it for inspiration. But if you're following a bunch of the wrong people, I'm just going to call it what it is. If you're a guy and all the people you follow are girls, that's a red flag, okay? And if you're a girl and you follow only guys, I think that's a red flag as well. You have to have balance on social media or it will consume your life, and it won't even do it consciously. It'll do it subconsciously. I've been on planes and I would have somebody sitting next to me and they would just be on TikTok for like 4 hours, just going up and down. And I'm like, this app is literally destroying your life. He could have been reading. He could have been watching a movie, at least an inspirational movie. You know what I'm saying? So what can you do leaving today? Let's talk about it. What do you think you can do leaving today? Let me know in the chat. What do you think you need to do leaving today? For some people, this question, all you need to do is recommit. For some people, it's to commit for the first time. For some people, it's the prospect, to share the plan, to do more presentations. For some people, it's to stop over leveraging. See, you know the answer because you're with yourself more than other people. For some people, it's to start using the platform. For some people, it's to do their first launch event. You know, for some people, it's to have higher energy. And I'm not saying that this is just for IAM or just for a company. What can you do leaving today to get better? Because when you get better, you attract better people, better results. And I'm not saying there's people that are less than you, but there's some people that I don't want into my business, right? You know why? Because I qualify people before I work with them. On Apple Music and Spotify, I put this up like years ago. Type in Mike Sotero. It's called How To. There's no rap songs, okay? It's 5 trainings in 5 minutes. It's free. It's on Apple Music or Spotify. It's called How To. And in one of the audios, I give you questions to ask on how to pre-qualify people. The problem is some of us, and I did this 10 years ago, I would let anybody join me. Now there's questions. Well, hey, Amber, you know, definitely appreciate you reaching out. Hey, real quick before I show you the information, Are you somebody that's coachable? Are you somebody that's willing to work? Are you somebody that has money to invest? Would you consider yourself somebody that takes risks? I'm asking these questions before they even see the video. You know why? Because when the video or the presentation's done, they're already going to be involved. I don't have to lie to people. I don't have to overhype things. I don't have to say, hey, you got to meet this person because of how much money they make. No. What I got good at and why I have a peace of mind, whether my business is growing or consolidating, nothing's dying. I don't believe that. It's either growing or it's consolidating. And when things consolidate for a series of time, they break out again. Now in trading, things die. Okay. Some cryptos, they die. Some NFT projects, they die. We'll talk about that on Go Live. But what can you do leaving today? I want to give you something that you can do in the next 24 hours, a challenge for every single person here. And the challenge is this. The challenge is to enroll one new customer. How many people can do that? How many people in the next 24 hours, if I took, watch this, if I took your family hostage and I told them, and I'm not, this is a metaphor or I don't know, whatever, it's an analogy. If I said, hey, Chad, hey, Devin, hey, George, hey, Julio, I'm taking your family captive and you have 24 hours or they get sent to an island and you never see them again. Would you enroll one new customer? In the chat, yes or no? Well, Mike, that's so, oh my God, that's so detrimental. Well, so is struggling for the rest of your life. So is being unhappy. So is not giving your family what they deserve. You know, some of us, you know, some people on this call, you've been born into situations that you can't control. And I'm sorry. I really am. But I can't control that and neither can you. But what I can do, and I'm not even trying to be your friend right now. I'm just trying to be an example. Joey's trying to be an example. Is to remind you who you are. Because I think sometimes, I got goosebumps saying that, I think sometimes we forget, excuse my language, but all the shit that we've gone through. I almost died at 16. I don't really talk too much about that, but I had a tumor in my knee, the size of a golf ball, literally this big. And I didn't think I was going to make it to 17 years old. I don't share this too much, but I should. But God said, okay, I'm not done with you. I still have more responsibility for you. I still have more blessings for you. And it really, that was a turning point in my life that showed me, okay, got it. There's more for me. And if I'm still here, there's more for me today and there's more for you today. But do you believe that? Forget me. Do you believe that? And leaving this call today, is it just going to be another call? That's the one thing I hate about this industry. There's too many calls. There's too many meetings sometimes, never not enough meetings. Too many things that don't move the needle forward. And then there's too many people talking about where the needle was. Get excited about your future, not where you've been, not where you even are. Because Jim Rohn told me in an audio when I was 18 years old, go listen to it, building your network marketing business, that what you do today, the results will show up in 90 days, in 6 months, in 12 months. And I know that sounds really motivational as we wrap up this call. But motivation doesn't last. But getting emotionally attached to a goal does. Getting inspired, Bob Proctor said, in spirit, getting in alignment with what you want, creating an emotion that's emotions that are attached. Just even if they're attached to specific things, you're more likely to get them. And you're more likely to keep them. And those things that you get attached to, they don't even need to be physical. They need to be who you need to become to get to 10,000 a month or whatever your goal is. And a lot of the things I'm sharing with you, I'm also speaking to myself. Because the one thing that I hate about this industry, and before I pass it back to Joey, I'm sure I want Joey to answer this after, is hypocrites. People that say things and don't do it. Show me your PRSV. Oh, you're a P2K telling people to go build something, to go do something? You better DM me that PRSV right now. Stop being a hypocrite. We don't need hypocrites. We don't need bosses. We don't need managers. We need leaders. And in this industry, you have to get good at knowing the difference between a leader and a manipulator. You have to know the difference. If somebody's preaching from the hilltops, they're humble, they're probably dealing with insecurity. And it's going to take time to know that difference. But in this company, in this vehicle, even through challenges, guess what? We got leaders. And you know what's funny is all you need is 2 or 3. And you can turn around any ship and you can move a ship in any direction. And I think we have 73 people on this call. So I think we have enough. But the question is, will you be in the room in Orlando? What rank will you be at? You don't know what's going on in Orlando. Let me show you. imacademy.events. If you don't have your ticket, it's okay. Just get your ticket tonight. Mike, I don't have money. Go hit P600. Go enroll 3 to 4 new customers. If you're in Europe, you need to be at this event. Okay, Rotterdam is a must. I'll be at both events. Okay, but if you're in the United States, you got to get to this regional. It's 2 days. And here's the cool part as we end this call. It's going to be like the best of both worlds. It's going to be chairmen and educators on the same stage, something I've been pushing for years. Me and Matt Rosa, we actually did the first best of both worlds in December of 2017 when I got involved in this company. And now to see it on a regional standpoint, I'm so excited. I'm excited for every single person on this call because I know where you're at today means nothing. Be grateful for where you're at. Be excited for where you're at, but it means nothing compared to where God is going to take you in this next season if you believe that. I believe my next season, I believe 2022 was amazing. Even through the challenges, it was amazing because I learned so much. I got better. But 2023, it'll be a spitting image of 2022 unless you do something different. If you don't know what to do, reach out to your uplines and they'll tell you, but then you have to go do it. Joey, I appreciate, bro, the invitation to this call. I don't take it for granted. Thank you for hosting these calls on Wednesdays. And I'm going to pass it back to you, brother.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate that very much. I know I asked you just a couple days ago and you said, let's run it. And you just ripped that call. So I really appreciate you doing that. And like you said on the call, guys, Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn. That book, that audio changed my life. It's right there on YouTube. Me and him been doing this industry for the last 10 years. And then what he left us with was, what can I do leaving today? This is how I do it. I figure out what I want my life to look like. And Alex talks about it all the time. Bob Proctor talks about it all the time. Have a crystal clear vision of what you want your life to look like. And then reverse engineer it. And what does that come down to? For me, it comes down to, like, again, what he was talking about, leading from the front and flipping the cards and looking for those aces in that deck of cards that we can go run with and create new success stories and build this empire and help other people achieve their goals so you can achieve yours, so you can eventually have so much financial freedom so you can do what you want with the people that you love and care about. That's what's important to me. Figure out what it is you want, reverse engineer it, and it just comes down to enrolling like crazy, plugging in, being a product of the product, getting on his pip talk, getting on his educating sessions. The dude is the GOAT when it comes to DeFi, DCX, that entire space. And I don't know, it looks like it's about to make a huge bounce back. He would know a lot more about it than I would, but it might be really, really time to plug into that. So I appreciate you again for hopping on this call, bro. Absolute legend in the game. And with everybody else, I hope you got some value. Type fire in the chat, type 777 in the chat if you guys got some value. I'm going to get this recording out to you so you can get it out to your teams if you want them to listen to it. And I'll see you guys on the next Elevate Mentorship, and to the top we go. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Peace.